Hey everyone. Today we're going to be sharing a very interesting interview with you. This is a source, a person who I came across from another source I was working on for a different case. She told me she had a friend who had a family member who lived on Ben Hill, 110 Ben Hill, from around 2017 to 2019 for a couple years there, up until about a year and a half before Summer disappeared. This is a unique interview, especially for us, because we haven't been able to talk to Don and Candace Wells. We haven't actually, I don't think we've talked to anyone who has actually lived for any period of time on that property and had insight into the daily lives of the Wells family, what the relationships between the children were like, between the parents, and between parents and children. These are things we would have liked to talk about with the Wells, but that's not possible. So this is the next best thing. We have someone who was there at least every other day, which was a younger teenager, around 15 or 16, stayed there overnight one or two times, knows the inside and outside, inside of the house very well and the outside property very well, had some very interesting insights, some of the structures on the property, just unique things that we didn't know about. There were some unusual revelations that came out of this. There are some very sensitive things, I would say somewhat controversial. We are including this as this person's opinion. Obviously, this isn't our opinion. This is drawn from this person's experience of living on at the property or staying visiting very, very often, at least every other day over the 2 year period. So they bring a lot more insight than most people out there, even more than people who met the Wells after Summer disappeared. This is a person who knew them very, very well. She was actually friends with Candace before visiting the property that often, and it was because she was friends with Candace that the family member eventually went up there and this connection started. Some of the things that are going to come out in this interview are, I believe, one or two things that I heard her tell are things that have never been told before, have never been heard before. Some unique insight into the psychology of the Wells, some of their thinking even before Summer was born, and I think most importantly, the risks that Summer faced up there, the things, the more likely scenarios, according to this witness, this source, what could have potentially happened to Summer. Again, in some cases, she's speculating just like anyone else, but it's based on, I think, more insight and more knowledge than most people. So that makes it more valuable, more interesting. Again, this is not our channel's opinion. Everyone knows we are not for or against the Wells. We just take information and we incorporate it into our understanding of this case. This person does have opinions about which side she's on, as far as her strongest theory about the Wells. So take that for what it's worth. It's her opinion. She has every right to it. Also, just a quick note, you'll notice that this video is highly edited. She's completely blurred, and I've bleeped out the identifying information about her family member. This information was all given on what's called background in the world of journalism. Background just means that the person providing the information wants to remain anonymous. They are afraid for kind of backlash or, someone trying to go after the family or whatever. So to protect the family and respect their wishes, I blurred the face through the entire interview, as well as trying to hide any identifying information. It's a fascinating one, so just settle in, buckle your seatbelts, and hope you enjoy this one. So I will blur your face. I think you prefer them, like, nobody knowing who you are.
Yes.
So I'll blur your face. I'll do voice changer. That way it's not obvious. Nobody will really know.
Let you know that family and know that I've been up there to you know.
Right.
And that's really gonna be like my immediate when that would know.
Let's talk about background. So from the beginning, how did your and you end up even being there that often?
So I met them through one of my friends. One of his mom. I met her through this kid's mom. I was like 15, 14, 15 years old whenever I met them. So a lot of that is a lot of the younger ages is blurred, but I introduced her to my and then I mean we just she kept coming around more or less. This was way before summer was ever a thought. Like summer and my are 4 months and some change apart.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
So wait, you knew Candace before your ever lived up on that hill.
yeah.
How did you meet Candace then?
Through a friend, through my friend's mom. I don't remember how, if that makes sense. I just know that's who I met her through. I just don't remember how it happened.
Wow, I didn't realize that. So you were friends.
I've known him for a long time.
Okay. So how did your end up living on that property?
So I got evicted. This is right after I had my son. So I had two kids at the time, and I was not able to help her. So Candace helped her move, and when she did, she ended up going up there because she didn't have nowhere else to go. Nobody was helping her. She went up there and was staying in the addition for a little while, and then was in the camper until she came off the hill. And she was up there for I want to say about 3 years.
Candace actually got her a teardrop camper.
Yeah, Donnie did.
They were they were out of the goodness of their hearts helping you.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
But they're not good people.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
At that point, at that point I didn't see any foul, like no harm, no foul. At that point, there was
Okay.
no reason for me to believe there was anything wrong.
Because you were friends with Candace. I mean, you were friends with her. You wouldn't have been friends with her if you didn't like her, right? I mean,
Right. But yeah,
so let's get into that then. So actually, what years are we talking about? Like, when did your move up there?
17, 18, I want to say.
So roughly 2017, 18, they helped her out. She lived there until about 2019. If it was mid to end of 2019, you're talking barely over a year, maybe a year and a half until Summer actually went missing.
I think my apartment outside of my apartment, and I was scrolling through Facebook and it popped up, and I'm like, what the hell? So I called my and I'm like, did you see this? And there for a while, everybody thought we had something to do with it because it was so close to when she went missing. And I wanted nothing more for that child to be found.
People in town thought you guys had something to do with it.
People that knew us, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So they have pictures. So my and Summer, there are multiple pictures floating around of my and Summer. And people were taking those pictures and putting them in the Summer Wells, like the Find Summer groups.
Wow.
I was finding them. Like, there was one picture that her dad sent me. And I'm like, what the hell? So I had to go in to this group, find the picture, and threaten them with the police to take it down. Yeah.
You were closer to Summer than most people.
Yeah.
Like, you knew Summer really well.
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. Because she was about the age of your so of course they're going to be close.
4 months and 10 days, I want to say, apart.
Were her and your kind of like
They were really, really
tight?
close.
Yeah.
She kept my she kept my a lot before she started school. My stayed with my a lot.
Okay, that's amazing. I didn't know that you had a who is close to Summer's age. Wow.
It was so close that she told me that her and her grandmother used to talk about like wanting to take Summer, like wanted to take her. Like we were going to call DCS right before Summer went missing. And she told me not to because she didn't want to make it worse on her where she had just freshly come off the hill. And they knew where she was at.
You guys were at the point when before she left that you actually wanted to call DCS.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
And she passed in December. And she wouldn't want me to sit here and talk about it. I've got to find, she has, and I know you want to ease into it, but I have to say it before I forget. Okay, journal entries of things that happened up there.
Do you know where they are?
I don't. I've been in her RV twice since she passed. They tormented the hell out of her for a long time.
Eventually, maybe we could talk about that, but a typical day, let's say from 2017, 2019, You're going up there, you're visiting, you're spending, maybe, I'm assuming you slept overnight, you stayed there.
I was like a 15, 16. That's the only time I ever stayed up there.
So you were old enough to remember what it was like.
Like I was waking up with cockroaches crawling all over me.
Well, I was going to ask you what was a typical day like up on the hill?
Oh yeah, they put like a bell across the bottom, like not really the bottom of the driveway, but like a quarter of the way up the driveway. They put a bell right there that run along the driveway that they would get notified in the house.
If someone came up the driveway?
Yeah, like even stepping on it, I tested it for them more than once.
Okay.
Um, but that's the area of no cell service. A normal day would be going up there, having a good old time, whatever, outside, playing in the mud, basically. They would always go out to eat. So if you didn't eat before we went back to their house before we left town, you were down for the night. Basically, you didn't have anything. At least that's when I was younger. The one time I stayed up there, I was 15, mind you, and they got me hammered. They allowed me to get drunk.
At 15 years old. Okay. And they didn't have much food in the house. They would go out to get food and stuff. Okay. Like, okay, everyone gets up in the morning. Does everyone have breakfast? Is it like structured? Were there structured meals?
Cereal, whatever you grab, I guess.
Okay, so they had basic stuff like cereal for the kids or whatever. What if the kids got hungry around lunchtime? Did they have food around?
And we were out at the house, black in town.
So they didn't spend a lot of time in the house.
She would be out in town most of the day, whether that was visiting food pantries or going to the local bar, Burger King. They ate Burger King a lot.
Was it usually with the kids? She'd just load up the kids in the car and go eat Burger King or whatever for lunch. And
Didn't matter how they looked. Like my used to, they get so upset because and summer at least would go out dirty, nasty legs, dirty feet, dirty face, and it would my the wrong way every time. They would get into it often because she allowed Summer to go out like that. It was definitely rough at that point.
I mean, did they not wash often? Did the kids not wash often?
That I don't know, 100% because I never paid that much attention. They'd usually go out the water hose, play in the bathtub. They had like an old bathtub they used as a pool.
Okay.
There's pictures of Summer and my both in that pool. But like the way their house was set up, they didn't have a bath. They didn't have a bathtub. They had a shower, stand-up shower. Like no privacy.
What do you mean by no privacy?
Like when you would walk in, they had an addition to the house, which was just a big open room that run the length of the house. And I don't know if they were used as a bedroom or what, but that's when my stayed out for a little while. But you would walk in that addition, and then you'd hang it right into the main part of the house. You'd go in, and it was such an open floor plan. You would walk in, and there was a futon right inside the door on the right side of the wall. And then you had like the kitchen against the back wall, that consisted of like your sink and I think like a small stove.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the island in the middle of the floor, which everybody knows the island has the stairs under it, to the basement. And then if you come in that same door and you look to the left, you had the washer dryer, and then you had a toilet, and then you had the shower.
No door?
No walls, no door, nothing. And if you're sitting, like I have a picture somewhere of me standing in front of the toilet because they had a mirror over the toilet. And I have a picture of me standing somewhere over the toilet where you can see the back, like the background. I don't know if you can see the toilet or not, but you can see everything behind it.
Okay.
But if you're sitting there, you've got in front of you would be like the island with the stairs, and then to the left, you would see, I guess for a lack of better words, a closet. It was Donnie's mom's house. I don't know really a whole lot other than it's just an old house, but I don't think Summer even had a bed.
Everyone thought that downstairs was where she slept.
That's where they all slept.
Oh, all the kids slept.
All of them slept down there. Unless they passed out on the futon upstairs, that's where they were at.
Did he tell me that she showered with?
Donnie would shower with Summer.
You witnessed this yourself?
Didn't.
So you witnessed, and in the house, there's no door to the bathroom, so anybody could see that, I'm assuming. Completely naked? I don't.
It is so graphic and so disturbing. Like,
She said he showered with her completely naked. Okay. And Summer was naked.
Summer was, I want to say, 3 years young.
Okay.
She was little.
I mean, I've heard those stories, and I'm always like, well, I'm not going to judge if like this is a different way of living, right? And maybe that's
Yeah, but that's no excuse for their. And that's what she was saying, like, trying to justify to a sense the way they live, but there's no reason or excuses for the way they live. There's not. There's people out there that live the same life, but you wouldn't know.
true. That is true.
There's no reason for it.
Did you spend time in that basement too? Are you familiar with it? No. Never went down there really.
Not really. I didn't like it. You have to walk backwards down the steps. I didn't like it. I did not. I had no idea. I didn't have no reason to go down there. It was literally just their bed. There's no reason to do.
When you did sleep over, I'm assuming you slept in your camper probably.
No, at that time I wasn't up there. I never stayed up there when my was up there. And that's because she's in a teardrop camper and it was not big enough for nothing.
Okay. Earlier I had asked like if you had ever slept overnight at any point. I think you said when you were like 16, maybe 15.
Yeah.
Where did you sleep at that time?
On the futon.
On the futon in the house.
Yes.
Okay. I had a question I wanted to ask earlier, but I think I'm going to ask you now because the fact that you did sleep there when you were 15 brings this question to my head. Did you ever feel weird when you were sleeping there around Dawn, around Candace? Was there anything that raised red flags for you?
The whole situation was weird. Because why are you in your 30s hanging out with a 15-year-old?
Talking about Candace?
Both of them, yes. Like, why are you hanging around children in your adult years? I didn't think about it at the time, but it was still weird.
Can you expand on that a little? Because were you not the only 15, 16-year-old around?
I had two of my over there. Their friend would hang out over there. She was constantly around kids. Like, and I get it. Some people will look at that like, oh, you have a heart for kids. None of us were troubled. Not enough to need a second parent. I mean, you were allowing us to be inebriated.
Did she do that with pretty much? So Candace is the one who usually gave these teenagers alcohol?
She gave it to her boys, too. Her boys.
Wow.
I watched the oldest boy. I get their names mixed up.
Josie is the oldest.
I watched him throw an entire fit and a half because his mom wouldn't let him hit her joint.
Did you get the impression that he had been allowed to before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get it. They're different, whatever, but some things are not excusable.
Was this mostly Candace or Dawn was also giving them alcohol?
I was never really around John, and that's because he was either out, at work, or he constantly stayed gone, if that makes sense. In a sense of he would hit on Candace and then leave.
When you say hit on, you mean beat on her. You witnessed physical violence?
No, but I've seen her with black eyes before.
Okay.
I never seen any physical violence between the two, but I've seen her scared.
Well, it's supported by the fact that she turned him in once.
Like, she would come to my house and, like, so my very first apartment, her and Donnie had gotten into it, and I allowed her to come into my home with all of her kids, and they stayed in my house for that, I want to say for 2 days, 3 days, and, I mean, they slept on the floor because I didn't have nowhere for them to sleep, but I still opened my home to them, and so, I mean, I know something was going on there.
To the point where you had to protect her at that point.
She wouldn't have come and stayed with me if there wasn't.
Did she tell you flat out that she needed to stay with you because she was scared?
She asked me, she said, can I come stay with you? Me and Donnie have had
Okay.
issues. Like, she come, the kids went to sleep, and then me and her sat, and we chatted a little bit, and, I mean, you could tell just by her demeanor, like, she was genuinely nervous and scared.
Do you want to tell them about whenever you went to your baby doctor appointment with Candace?
I can. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. So when me and Candace were both pregnant with Summer and I went with her to a doctor's. Well, She went. I don't know if you would consider it a doctor's appointment because she didn't see nobody, but she went to her doctor's office, and asked them if they knew anywhere that she could get a late term abortion.
Was she pregnant for Summer with Summer at the time?
Yes.
Really? Really?
And they told her they didn't have no. This was 2016. They were trying to weed out 2015, 2016. They were trying to weed out having late term abortions. And they said not in this area, but they told her somewhere that wasn't even close. I don't remember if it was like Texas or somewhere away. And that's because Donnie didn't want her. They didn't want Summer.
They didn't. And how pregnant was she at the time?
Well, she was 4 months ahead of me, so I might have just found out I was pregnant. I mean, she was about to have a baby.
And she asked the doctor if she could have a late term abortion.
Yeah. If they knew anywhere where she could have one.
Oh, was Dawn there too, or just you and Candace?
Just me and Candace.
Oh wow, yeah, that is a hard pill to.
I don't notice Paulo, and because it's sad. Like I feel like, do you ever feel like if you would have done more, like you should have said more, you should have done more, and things wouldn't have happened the way they did?
Yeah.
Like, was I in any position to take the other child? No.
No.
Absolutely. With a quickness.
Do you think? I mean, there are parents, and I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit because there are parents who are like, okay, I don't want to have another kid, and they might say something like that.
I mean, she has a daughter she has another daughter that's older than the boys.
Is she living in Wisconsin or?
I believe so.
Okay.
Well, I've never met her. She's not in the States. She had that child took away from her.
After having Summer, now you were there, so you saw the relationship as Summer was growing up.
I mean, it was right when Summer was little.
So do you feel like after they had Summer, they loved her at least?
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can have a child and not.
Right.
But those people are cut from a different cloth. They are some oddball people.
So let's talk about those relationships, because when you were there over those years, you observed how the brothers were toward the brothers, how the brothers were towards Summer.
Then boys loved her.
Yeah.
He loved her so much. And I mean, other than Waylon having jealousy issues because he was the baby, they loved her.
Good. And we already talked a little bit about the relationship between the parents. Obviously, there was possibly some violence there, some fights. What about how Candace and or Dawn behaved with their own children? Were there any red flags? Were there anything you saw that was like, this isn't right, there's something weird here?
They were very verbally aggressive with their children. Like, I get it, kids can be real pains in the rear, but there's no reason to call your kids names. And it was usually, I mean, they both did, but Candace was an alcoholic and Donnie was a drug addict. So I'm not going to say that's why they did it or that is a justified behavior, because it's not. But the way they talked to them kids was definitely not it.
So from what you just said, I get the sense that you witnessed, obviously you said earlier, Candace and the kids, all the kids, alcohol sounds like that was her drug of choice. She was drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Did you
You would have snakes if she didn't have alcohol.
Okay. Did you witness Dawn either doing drugs, buying drugs, high as hell, obviously on drugs?
He was never really around when I was.
Okay, so how do you know he was his thing was drugs?
Candace used to tell me all the time Donnie was running off to go buy cocaine.
Okay, so she told you.
She told me. Now, given at that point I was very naive. Like, I come from a history of drug addicts. But I was very naive because it's none of my business. What you do as a grown adult, it's none of my business. So I didn't see the signs potentially of him, let's say him being higher than ill. Because I didn't pay attention. I was young myself, like, why do I care? We're just living life at this point.
You mentioned something earlier. I think I'm going to jump to this too because this is really important. You were a 15, 16-year-old hanging out. There were a lot of kids around. Did you see others? Like, obviously, do you know anything about Hunter? Did you see Hunter when he was...
I had never met Hunter. He came around after me and my...
That was later. Okay.
Yeah, we never met him. I don't know him from nowhere.
Were there other teens that came up to the property?
If there was, I'm not 100% sure. That would be a question for they had friends over there.
Okay.
She becomes friends with the parents, and then if they have a teenage kid, that's just a bonus. Like out of the house, she met Hunter's mom. I don't know how none of that even transpired, but I know it didn't happen until after my off the hill and we stopped talking.
So you felt like Candace had a preference for teens.
Before that, it was so weird. Like thinking back on it, like at the time, it didn't seem weird, but looking back on it after everything that's happened since we've stopped, it's weird.
Did she act like she was like one of the kids, like one of the teens?
She was definitely one of like the adult children, if you know.
I'm gonna name some names. So while anytime you were on the property, anytime you were there, I'm curious if you saw or heard anyone talk about any of the people I'm gonna mention. You ready?
Mhm.
All right. Fred Hill.
No,
Okay. Andy Bernard.
no.
Damien. He was probably around your age at the time, so
He was like I didn't hang out with the boys like that.
you never saw anyone there on the property that went by those names or anything.
No.
Okay. Did any guy ever show up named Cotton,
Cotton?
like Roy Cotton Simpson?
I don't think so.
Now there are rumors of other people living on the property. Like there was a guy for a while, and this may be a different time frame, so you may not even know. There's a guy named Jose, who I guess was there for a little while. Um, Another guy allegedly lived on the property, I think down on a shed somewhere, called Andy Paul. Any of this ringing a bell for you at all?
Andy Paul might. But I couldn't tell you nothing. I think I've heard his name in conversation when I was younger, but
Not while you were there.
mm-mm. There's a shed up there, and I called it in, and they said they looked at it. I don't know if they ever did. There's a shed, like you've seen the way the driveway is. It kind of split up and then it splits. There is a shed right before it splits, and a shed on the left. And that shed has, I guess, what you would call a fake door or a fake wall.
Okay.
That had the 55-gallon drums in it.
Did you see that yourself?
Did my saw some weird stuff up there, and that's like I've looked in that. No, I take that back. I was in that shed. There was some of our stuff in the front of that shed. We had some stuff in the front of that shed, and I actually went over there right after I had my 6-year-old, and I got some stuff out of there. And I think my pointed it out. If not, Candace definitely. I think she showed it to me.
The false wall?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it don't look big enough from the outside. If that makes sense. Like it don't look like it would be that big.
That was turned, and you turned that into either Hawkins County or TBI or both?
I want to say I turned it into TBI.
They told you they already checked it out.
Well, I told it to them or whatever, and then I think my called and turned the same thing in. I'm not going to say that Hawkins County is crap, but they're not looking. There's wells on that property. That property goes from the main road up that hill and back down the other side of that hill. That property is huge. It was his mom's property. Like she was like an old time, like a mega prepper, like a mega doomsday prepper.
I've heard that, yeah.
And she had, I don't know how many, but a lot of 55-gallon drums buried around the perimeter of that house.
So I heard that 55-gallon drum were in the shed with a lot of prepping food or whatever.
Now I know that's under the ground.
There's some under the ground too.
But at least that's what Donnie and Candace have told me. I've never seen them. Because it was when his mom was still alive.
But Dawn and Candace themselves told you that.
Yes.
Okay.
It was when his mom was still alive. I guess she was just putting non-perishable foods down in these drums and bury them. But realistically, if you want my opinion on everything around this case, I think she was missing a long time before they said she did. I think they had a head start on it.
So you think the events...
She didn't start school that year. Like the poor girl never got to go to school. Like I think something happened to her before they turned it in. And they knew school was coming up and they knew they had to figure out something and figure it out quick. And this is what they've went with. And it's not fair.
You think it's related to her about to go to school?
Yeah.
Do you think they were afraid she was going to talk about something?
That girl did not know a stranger. She would tell you everything you wanted to know. She did a lot of this with no regards to anything. And that's not a bad thing. But it is in that situation if things are going on.
Talking about Summer?
Yeah.
Oh, she would just tell people anything.
She didn't know. She didn't know she was telling you something she shouldn't be. Like, she just talked.
So you think she potentially told someone something that triggered a call to DC?
They were worried she was going to.
Okay.
Like, the boys were old enough that they were pretty well on. We don't talk about what happens here. The boys didn't talk to really nobody. They were not mute, but they were definitely to themselves.
And Summer wasn't anything like that.
Oh. Summer talked all the time, and I loved that about her. She was a little fireball, I'll tell you. They had 2 dogs, one of which, Orium? Yeah. Well, she was up there. I remember she made some puppies up there, and that dog's now with my mom. But she made puppies up there, and I don't know if she had quite a few. And that's all the dogs that would run around up there. They weren't aggressive dogs. They would bark at you, but they were not aggressive.
When you were there and interacted with the dogs, you never felt like they were going to charge you and bite your neck off or something? Okay, so they weren't that kind of violent. They just like to bark at strangers.
If it didn't bark at anybody that came up the driveway, it didn't matter. If it was Candace, Donnie, me, it didn't matter who it was. Dave, everybody.
What makes me feel less nervous about the dogs is all the time you were there, had you ever gotten a bite?
I was around them from the time they were born until my grandma come off the hill. Like, my grandmother had a bunch of dogs, and even them all together, they were 5.
So low possibility that one of the dogs flipped and hurt.
Very, very low. And then the rumor of Summer wouldn't come off that hill. Summer wouldn't wander down that hill. Yes, she would. She did it to my because she thought it was funny. She would go down that hill and then not answer to my.
So she would go down.
She wouldn't go all the way down to the road per se, but she would definitely go down to the other, like, to the opposite side of the switch, like where the switchback was. She'd go down the main hill, across the switchback, and into those little areas.
She liked to go down there and hide.
Mm-hmm. She thought it was funny.
She thought it was funny.
She was mean to my grandmother to a point, but she was a great kid given the circumstances.
Did she know? But did Summer? Do you feel like Summer knew the land around there enough that she wouldn't get turned around? Yeah.
And even in kid, it's not like she had people looking for her. It's not like she couldn't be found. Like, she was up there her whole life, and she went missing at 5. So yeah, she knew that land for sure. Because her and her brothers, they were explorers. They would just wander off and look at things.
How far would they, when they wandered off to explore, how far would they usually go? Do you know?
They wouldn't go really far, I don't think.
The property had a drop-off. We know of. It's steep on the Beach Creek side.
I mean, it was on a big freaking hill.
And it's on a huge hill. Mm-hmm. When you were there, seeing all of the objects, all of the machinery, holes, wells, dangerous equipment with blades, like, were there things that if you looked around now that you're older and you're like,
that were there that shouldn't have been there, that the kids would be around, for sure. He did construction. I mean, he had a lot of things, but they also grew up around a lot of that. They had a lot of stuff that was just weird, that shouldn't have been accessible to small kids, for sure.
So if she did run out the door on that day, assuming that the story's true about the morning and they went wherever, let's just assume for now it's true. She went downstairs, decided, I'm gonna do my little trick. I'm gonna run away like I do sometimes, and she runs out the back door. Were there things? We've set aside the dogs probably wouldn't do it, but was there a possibility of her having an accident anywhere on that property with anything that was there? Were there dangerous things around?
There was, but where I hadn't been up there in so long, I couldn't tell you on that specific day that she went missing. I don't know. I mean, yeah, there was things down there that should have been down there. That he had, like, this farm equipment, but it had, like, the big things on it. Oh, like the spikes on it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure I that door go down, cut across the switchback, and right there in that open field, but like going back down the driveway, there was one there. So I'm not saying that was still there. That's a big, heavy piece of equipment that very well she could have run into.
Were there open holes? Were there wells that were just like open up?
I definitely saw one, but I also never explored that property.
Okay.
But I know they would go down to the creek beside of Ben Hill Road, like before they get their driveway. There was a creek that run through there, and the kids would be found down there sometimes. Like they wandered, but they knew that property better than anybody. Them kids did.
The kids would have known where all these things were anyway. Yeah.
I feel like them boys know something, and they don't want to say nothing. Well, they were giving up. They lost custody of him or whatever because this case got so much traffic. Yeah, it was not safe for them boys. Yeah, it really wasn't safe for them boys to be there. And I think they did the right thing, for sure. I give them that. They did the right thing. They put them boys in a better situation.
The other thing I was wondering is, so Candace was scared of bears, apparently. That's what I've heard. Do you ever hear that from her?
Have you ever seen that place at night time? She stayed outside.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Did you ever witness bears, cubs, any activity like that walking across a property?
No, majority of this. I mean, you can hear like coyotes off in the distance. That's normal. But I mean, you're in the middle of the woods. I'm sure there's going to be bears.
Yeah.
But I never physically saw none.
The reason I ask is because usually a property that has a lot of trash will attract black bears, but they had a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
So that could have warded off bears from coming. So I was curious if you had ever even seen, anytime you were there when you were 16, 15 overnight, if you had seen bears come up there, but it sounds like not a whole lot of bear activity as far as you know.
As far as I know, no. No, I mean, we left and then their property got worse in conditions. I never saw any.
One thing you said earlier that I wanted to get back to, and this is a really interesting comment you made, was you don't believe it happened on the 15th.
No.
Can you fill me in on the reasons?
I feel it in my heart that it didn't happen on the 15th. I feel it in my heart that it was way before they ever said anything. And that's just how I feel about it. There's nothing that I could say to you right now that would back that up at all.
Okay.
I've always felt deep in my heart that something happened before then. If not, they would have found her. Whether that is her alive or not, if they didn't have a head start on it. Like, they went out of state right before all of this, too. Candace went out of state. Because she posted about it on TikTok. I don't know if you had her TikTok at the time, but she posted about being, I'm not sure if it was Wisconsin or Arkansas, but she was somewhere out that looked like it looked like a Grand Canyon.
Could have been in Utah.
Maybe. It was somewhere not in Tennessee. They were out there, I want to say like 2 months before Summer went missing. And they really focused on a rock.
The hard part of that, and it's a good theory, the only hard part is that we've got a witness, Hunter, who told the whole story about the afternoon, the whole morning and afternoon, probably cameras at like the Sonic grocery store. So unless law enforcement's not telling anyone that that's all not true, but then Hunter would be completely lying about everything.
Because that picture of her in the back of the car, she don't look alive.
So a lot of people say, yeah.
I examined that picture for months. I kept going back to that picture. But realistically, who's to say he wasn't coerced into saying what he said? I'm not saying what they said happened that day didn't happen, but I don't know 100% in my heart I don't know if Summer was there.
They went to the hospital early in the morning, and then they had to wait for the grandmother, so they went to Allie's. They ended up getting Hunter. Now, it was June in 2021. It was a typical June in Tennessee, so wicked hot, like really hot.
Really hot.
Really hot. So then they eventually get the grandmother. They go put in the prescription, and they've got to go wait. So they go swimming. They go to the swimming hole. She goes swimming. Then they go to Sonic, and she has a slushie. So she had just been swimming. The temperature was really hot. She gets in the car. They get a Sonic. Then they go to the grocery. They allegedly drop off. No, they go to the grocery store first with Hunter. From the story, Summers, after swimming, after drinking a cold slushie, she's sitting in this parking lot at Payless, price last, whatever it is,
Yeah.
for about an hour, 40 minutes or so. And Candace didn't like air conditioning, right? Imagine everything I just told you with the swimming in cold in cool water, having a slushie, sitting in the heat for about 40 minutes. Hunter said it felt like an hour. And then there's the picture.
Yeah, that's weird.
The milk jug picture where she's got a jacket on at that point.
That's what it's weird.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. I think something happened, but I don't know if the timeline adds up. It was hot that day.
Yeah. So why would Summer be so cold she has to wear a windbreaker? That piece didn't make any sense unless she was having some kind of issue.
Well, and then you look real close to that picture. Her mouth is discolored.
People say it's because of the slushy. Like people, you know what I mean? People.
I mean, it'd be it. I mean, she could have had a blue or purple slushy. I get it.
What's amazing to me though is there are a lot of people out there who have opinions about whether the Wells are guilty in some way or complicit. Most of those people, like I said, never knew the Wells before all of this. You're one of those people.
I've been sitting back and watching and seeing whatever I speculate, and I only speak up in my like if a picture of my goes around, that's when I step up because that's not okay. Why are you gonna bring? At the time, she was 4. Why are you gonna bring her into it? I don't know. I don't think Donnie and Candace's reactions add up. And then they said something about the red pickup truck. That was a vehicle they were looking for. I mean, anybody that drove a red truck at that time was getting looked at.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy.
But what's surprising is you knew them for 2 to 3 years. You spent a lot of time at the property with them, with their children. You got to know at least Candace really well. Dawn was kind of in and out, but you knew Candace really well. You were friends with her before your grandmother even moved.
Right there, right? Like, we were really great friends considering everything.
And you're able to get your head to the point now where you're like, they could be guilty of something. That's huge.
In my heart, I think there's something more that they're not speaking on.
And what is it about Candace, everything you know about Candace, that makes you think she would actually be able to not tell the truth about what really happened with Summer?
Think about her sister's case. Her sister was missing in 2009. There's nothing's ever been found. That case itself is fishy. Candace is a liar. She is a really good liar.
Candace is a liar.
She can be very good at manipulating and lying about things. Like, I've sat back and watched everything that's come out about this case. I have watched everything. The stuff that she says is just so inaccurate. Like, Summer not running off. That's inaccurate. It's simple things that are inconsistent. Because you want to paint yourself in a better light, and I understand that. But if you didn't have nothing to do with it, you would have said something sooner. You would be doing more. I'm chasing down Dr. Phil. After several lessons, Candace got her whole mouth redone. I'm sorry, that's not my top priority if my child is missing. Personally, I think there's a lot to it that nobody knows but Candace and Donnie.
As you're sitting there watching these interviews, Dr. Phil interview, the McDonough interview, and you've been up there, you started picking up on things she was saying that you knew wasn't true.
Yeah.
Like her walking off the hill.
Inconsistent. And then I'd call my and I'm like, hey, did you watch this? And then, like, no, so I sent it to her. And then we'd sit and talk about it for a while. Because we know she's lying. And
were there other examples you can think of? I know there's probably a lot and it's been over time, but were there things that you caught that were like, she's clearly lying about that too?
Yeah, Summer's always dirty, so her saying she's not is inaccurate.
It is really interesting. It's really important what you just thought of. And if there's more inconsistencies you can think of, it's important because the fact that Summer thought it was a fun game to go hide, that's huge. That's important.
She did. She thought it was hilarious, and then she'd get in so much trouble.
Candace said she would never wander off.
That's the biggest one that I could think of right off my head. Because how are you going to sit and say she wouldn't when you and I both know she would? Because there'd be days that my would be left with Summer, and Candace would take the boys and go back into town. My was a little bit more laid back than Summer was. Like, there'd be times that my would just send my to go find her. Stand at the property line there so I can see you and you can holler for her, see if you can see her.
But she would usually, Summer knew enough to stay within a limited distance. Like she wouldn't just go in the middle of the woods.
No.
Okay.
The only way she could go would be back down the driveway.
Yeah.
Because that other side was so steep, she couldn't have got down it, but she damn sure couldn't have got back up it.
So if we think about this, why do you think Candace wouldn't want people to know that Summer wandered off?
Yeah.
Lies have a reason. There's always a reason she's going to tell something to mislead the public.
She wants everybody to view her as the grieving mother that's missing her child, I'm sure.
But why wouldn't she want people to know that Summer wanders off?
To paint her narrative a little bit better, that somebody come and took her.
That somebody come and took her.
And that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only reason I could think that she would paint that narrative like that.
They need to sell the story that she was abducted, essentially.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm not saying that story's not true. But it would only be true if an arrangement had been made prior. Because you're not going to know nothing about that area if you've not been up there.
It would have had to be someone who knew that property and the dogs knew them.
Yeah.
Basically, for it to be an abduction. When you mentioned the bell, that's interesting too, because supposedly when the dogs tracked her scent, they tracked the scent to the left of the driveway down to Ben Hill. It wasn't down the driveway. It's almost like
it would have been down the direction that she would go.
On her own. It's almost like intentionally avoiding the driveway. Someone would have had to know there's a bell across the driveway. It would have to be avoiding the driveway intentionally.
Because they had like posts up, or they had a post up that was on one side of the driveway. Coming up the driveway would have been on the left. You would have to know it was there. You would have to know it was there if it was something that was avoided. If the driveway was avoided, you would have to have known that it was there. Whether it worked or not is irrelevant. If you knew it was there, hold down.
Knowing those two as well as you did, do you think they would be the type of people who would arrange for her to be taken for any reason?
If a debt was owed, probably.
You think they would? They're the type of people.
I wouldn't like to say they did. I don't want to think that. But I wouldn't put it past them. I guess it would depend on how big the debt was. I mean, realistically, it could have been, Summer was being abused and Candace wanted to get her out of it without it looking bad, if that makes sense. And made arrangements for somebody to have her. Candace down in her heart cared about them kids.
Okay.
I think a lot of her tendencies and her actions and her behaviors were because of Donnie. If that makes sense.
If she needed to protect Dawn, then Dawn takes priority over the kids.
But fear, probably.
Because of fear. Okay. Let's consider when you saw the boys play with Summer, were they rough with her?
Yeah. Siblings.
I'm talking sometimes too rough with the point where they could hurt her.
Not that I ever noticed.
Okay.
If they started to get too rough, if I was there, I always told them to quit. Like, calm down. I don't think. Not unless after my off that hill something happened. I don't know. The boys were rough anyways, but I don't think they would have ever. And Summer was rough. Summer was a boy. I swear to God, she was. It was a boy in a girl's body. If that little girl would sit, and be just right alongside them boys.
What's amazing to me is that you were friends with this woman before any of this, before 2017, before you moved up there. So if you were friends with her before then, you were friends with her during, you went up there, you spent time there, you know her as well as anyone else. You know this woman as well as anyone else, and you are still standing there saying you believe she would potentially cover up something like this. She's the type of person that would actually cover up something like this.
Out of fear for her loss. I really think so. I've seen Candace and Donnie together. I've seen her and him separate. I've seen her after he beat the hell out of her. I've seen it. I want to say down deep in my heart, I don't think she would intentionally do anything other than what I've already discussed. I don't think she would intentionally do anything.
She wouldn't harm Summer. She wouldn't hurt Summer for.
I would like to say no. She was a lot harder on the boys than she ever was to her.
Okay. So either the scenario where Dawn potentially did something, or there was an accident and she just passed. Then you're saying Candace potentially to cover herself, to protect herself, she's the type that would cover it up.
Mm-hmm. Had a theory, for sure.
Dear.
I mean, I would too, though. Like, Donnie knows a lot of people. Like, I know when she first was missing, the cornbread mafia was being tossed around.
Yeah.
I don't know what his ties are to that at all. I have no idea what his relations ties or none of that is with them. But I mean, Donnie knows people.
Do you know that from what you heard up there or from the speculation around the case?
Candace mentioned a couple of times in just conversation that he knows people. He knows people that are not in this area. Did she specify? No.
So Candace actually admitted that Dawn knows people who are dangerous.
I didn't put much thought into it. Because at that time, this was, 2 or 3 years before all of this. So I never put much thought into it. Like, okay, he knows people. What's that? What's the relevance to that? And I think she might have been telling me that in reference to herself.
It made her nervous. Okay. The biggest thing for me in this case and your story, what's hitting me the hardest is that, like I said earlier, the fact that you knew Candace as well as most people, and the fact that you're willing to say that, hey, you know what? If push comes to shove, she's gonna, even with her own daughter, she's the type of person that's probably willing to cover something up that happened to protect Dawn or herself.
Yeah.
Bottom line,
she has a good heart. She just has bad situations. She's not all there. There's no way she's all there. Like, I like to see the good in everybody, the good in everything, and it hurts my heart to even know that it happened the way it did, or that it even happened. I don't want to say with my whole heart, my whole chest that yes, I think Donnie and Candace had something to do with it, and yes, I think they're lying about it, and yes, I think they know more than what they're saying. Like, me personally, I believe an accident happened if it wasn't intentional. I believe something happened and, they got scared and they had to have an scapegoat. They had to have a way out of it. And it's done nothing but spiral. Like, it was what it is now, and that's not fair. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if something happens to that little girl, say something. And that's sad. That's sad for you to even say. It hurts my heart because, if nothing else, that little girl deserves to be put to rest if that's what she said. Respectfully.
Yep, I agree.
She had people that cared about her. And for them to be heartless, in a sense, is crazy behavior. Because what did she do to deserve that? Nothing. But she was 4. I don't know. I think they went about it the wrong way. What's coming out about it, regardless of what happened, I think they went about it the wrong way. And I think they're continuing to go about it the wrong way.
If you think about it, you had a almost exactly that age.
And that's why it's so hard because and I can't say what I would do in that situation, but I know I would do more than what they're doing. Like that, it hits so hard and it hurts my heart as a mom because that could have been my.
Yeah.
That could have been my because she was up there. And that's what's crazy. And I know I would have went about it different.
As a mother of a pretty much exactly that age, can you imagine if an accident did happen? Would your thought in your head be, oh no, people are going to think I'm a neglectful mother, I'm going to cover it up?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like to get to that point as a mother.
No.
Talking with you about Candace, the two scenarios, the accident and then covering it up. I think I'm going to repeat myself just to be sure, but you made it clear that she's probably the type that would be possibly cover it up to protect how she looks or protecting themselves. Or the other scenario is the potentially they owed a lot of money. Do you think they're the type? So let's say that's the scenario. You said they loved her though?
I would like to think they did.
So less likely that's the case, probably, right?
I would hope in my heart that wouldn't be the case. But Candace is going to do whatever she has to do to please Donnie. And even if that means still her child, she's going to do whatever it takes to please her husband.
Even selling Summer.
I would hope not, but for her and for her and everybody else, if that's what he wanted, I don't see her putting that much of a fight because he does put hands on her. So I don't see her putting that much of a back and forth.
She was that fearful of Don. She was fearful of Don.
Yeah. But see, she was financially dependent on him. It's a very bad case of DV, if you will.
So thinking about that, remember the Dr. Phil interview. Dawn is sitting there telling her, go ahead and answer. It's okay. Like, go ahead and answer. She's there breaking down in tears.
Yeah. Because she wants to be honest. I really think she wants to tell the truth.
And you think in that moment she was in fear of Dawn, probably.
But if you watch the interviews and stuff, he really he does all the talking.
Yeah.
He leads the interview.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that alone screams a lot.
It's funny because I always took it as, oh, he wants to protect her from the publicity. He wants to protect her, but you're viewing it different. You're viewing it as he wants to control the narrative.
He's always been the one to control the narrative.
I can't imagine what it's like for you.
It hurts my heart as a mother.
I mean, you were there with them.
That is my
Oh, oh my gosh. They even kind of look alike.
Here's my she put that picture on there in 2018.
Your has slightly more curly hair, but she looks a whole lot like Summer. Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's what I'm talking about. Like we know them. Like here they all are in the addition of their property, the house.
Yep.
That's part of the addition.
Yep. And just to reiterate, because this is something people have brought up, and I want to double check with you. There were rumors of inappropriate things between teenagers and younger kids, but you didn't say anything like that happened, right?
I can't even aware of. If there was, it was definitely very well concealed.
So is the only inappropriate behavior you noticed was between Candace and the teens?
Yeah.
Was there inappropriate touching or just affection beyond what's normal, that kind of thing?
Not that I ever realized, not that I ever paid that much attention to.
Okay.
So when I tell you I know them, that's my Summer.
Oh my gosh.
When I tell you I know them. And that's what breaks my heart. Like this dog is the one that put out most of them puppies that were up there.
Yeah. What was the name of that dog?
Oreo. This child, she constantly was in the water. You could not keep her out of the water.
Yeah.
But that's what I don't. The whole thing is just weird.
So after everything we've talked about, all the theories we've gone over, are you still on your original theory, or if I had to ask you, okay, right now, the most plausible, most likely scenario
In my opinion,
in your heart?
I think it was an accident.
like I think something happened, and it didn't end well, and they got scared.
And is she the type? Who do you think would have gone about trying to hide things, Dawn or Candace? Donnie.
Yeah,
He's got a
lengthy criminal background, but I wouldn't put it past him.
He would have done the dirty work to hide it. So she may not even know where Summer is.
You really may not. I mean, it's a very real possibility. Yeah. Like that one interview he did where he was with the, I think it was Josie at the church. He's like squeezing on his shoulder.
Yep.
Like, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. I think them boys know. I think at least Josie knows. Like I seen a video of him the other day where he's at that adoption place. And he is just such a grown man. I love it. And I'm going to say, it ain't no thanks to them two. He is such a grown man.
Yeah, they've had a hard life, but at least they're in a good place now.
Yeah.
I will tell you that you're having spent that much time there. I'm almost wondering now if she didn't record things that we have no idea.
She was very adamant. She told me multiple times. She said, if anything ever happens to me, they did it. She was that scared for her life.
Did she say why?
No. They would, like Candace and Donnie would send the boys over there to sit and beat all over her camper to scare her. They cut the power to her RV, her little teardrop camper, in the dead of summer. She got stuck up there, essentially. Because I couldn't get my vehicle up there, and she couldn't help that deal. And they wouldn't bring her down. So she was essentially stuck up there.
She was scared for her life at some point.
At some point, yeah. At a couple of points, she was, yeah.
Man, I'd love to know why.
Me and you both.
Wow.
And that's sad that she felt that she was that terrified.
She actually told you that, right?
Yes.
She told you that. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Come out of her mouth. If anything ever happens to me, it was them. If I die or I go missing, it was them. They were the only people up there with her.
Yeah. That's wild. Well, I've kept you for almost 2 hours. I want to thank you for trusting us enough to talk to me. And this will probably, I'm obviously going to blur your face, change your voice. There will be probably YouTubers trying to find you, track you down, interview you. Just beware, watch out for that.
Well, just know that it is a one-time thing. I'm not word vomiting with nobody else. There's nothing more that I can say.
Yeah.
I've said what I could say about it. It is what it is. You've got everything now. Take that with a grain of salt, or they can. I want to.
And I appreciate that, because the biggest thing this helps, and what we wanted so bad for so long, is Dawn and Candace won't talk to us. We're like, they'll talk to these YouTubers who are just the craziest creators ever, but they won't talk to us. And I don't know why, but maybe because
they're scared they're going to say something and it's going to conflict somewhere. Personally, I just want her to, if she is gone, I want her to be like the rest where she deserves to be, without dignity. To be home with somebody that cares about her.
Yep. And if heaven forbid, if anything, let's say your daughter, let's say this was your daughter, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but let's just.
Would have been my daughter, though.
Right. And hypothetically, if it was your daughter and you were choosing who to talk to about your daughter's case.
I'm going to talk to anybody that is going to give my child the attention and the news attention that they need. For sure. I'm going to be all over it. I'm not going to shut up about it. That's what rubs me the wrong. Right. That's what rubs me the wrong way about Candace and Donnie, because they are quiet.
Once a year, they'll talk to the news media. Like Dawn will do the statement to the local news, but I don't like. Jennifer Santinello is a really good example. She will promote her daughter's story like crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like that is a parent that cares. That's a parent that didn't have anything with it.
Yeah.
I can't say exactly what I would do in this situation, but I know good and damn well I would not be quiet. If you're not going to go live for my child, I'm going to go live for my child.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me I can't.
That's a piece of their behavior I've never understood, but
I don't understand that at all. That's something that's always struck me as odd.
But they will talk to the ones that are crazy. Like they like drama around the
kids. Yes.
I don't get that either. Like
attention.
Just attention.
Yes. They will get attention where they can. Like they would only go to church on holidays or when unless they started going here after we left. They would only go on holidays or when something big was going on at the church.
Dawn is now a super Christian. Oh yeah, he goes to church all the time and he's always talking about God. Like he has changed. He's flipped. He's
glad because never was he ever like that.
He's found God for sure. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's probably a good thing, but it ain't when you're sitting here potentially hiding something.
Yeah. So anyway, I should actually let you go. Thank you again so much for talking to us.
So you're welcome.
So I would say this to the Wells if they would talk to me, but I'm going to say it to you because you spent so much time with Summer. Your own daughter was Summer's age. You guys were close to Summer. I'll say to you, I'm sorry about what happened to Summer. Like you lost someone there.
And it hurts my heart. Like I cried about it. I couldn't tell you for how long.
I can't even imagine.
Like, and that was when we didn't even know if she was, gone or not. Like I feel it in my heart that she's gone now.
Yeah.
It's been, 5 years. There's no way somebody's kept her for that long with the attention that case has gotten, and nobody knows.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, but You try to keep hope, like maybe, but even that is a horrible scenario because if she's still alive, just imagine what she's going through. Okay, 2 hours is good. Thank you so much for sharing all of this and just being completely open and honest about everything.
I have nothing to hide about it for sure. I know what I give can help.
I think it will. I think it'll fill in a lot of gaps. So
questions that pop up or whatever, I'll send you a text or whatever. If any questions pop up, what have you, I'm here to answer them.
awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Always.
Okay. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, bye.